So when I was playing Orbiter 2016, I realized that something was interesting by landing on Enceladus. And I was trying to, I had a add-on in there that I was trying to do. Hello everyone, my name is Wade the Walby, and welcome to another, stream. Now, obviously, I was just got done playing Orbiter 2016. I was doing some fun, quote unquote, experiments, trying to see if you can actually act like you're taking off from a moon. Enceladus around Saturn. If you don't know what it is, it's an amazing moon. And I had a add-on on there that basically had a airport, literally two airports that were there. And I've tried this before, but I want to tell you guys, I'm going to tell you all in my scientific mind what will it look like if you were taking off and landing and what scenario that you will end up with. Now, first of all, we're going to start with Mercury. I haven't tried this out, but if you're trying to fly a space plane, no, let's just go to Earth, all right? Earth first. Earth is, nitrogen and oxygen atmosphere, and we fly airplanes all the time. You see what airplanes do. If you're a pilot, you probably know how to fly. I'm not a pilot. I just know how to fly things by, doing that. So I have an achievement. But what I'm talking about here is flying an airplane. You can take off, you basically use the quote unquote air, which is our atmosphere, to fly. The higher you go, the more efficient you use because the atmosphere is more thinner. However, there's one person, you can't go higher. The higher you go, the less air there is. And when there's less air, there's less lift. And once there's a point, the minimum, altitude for a standard airliner is 31,000 feet. And I think it is, 31,000 feet. At that level is the minimum. Now, if you go to SR-1 Blackbird, that thing is a beast. That thing can go higher. I don't know how high, but I know it's really high. But the X-15 is the highest. But it only had a rocket engine. So, it was limited for that. The space shuttle is a space plane, for instance. The X-37B is a space plane. And you're saying that the space shuttle is safe. If you watch this movie called, let's just go through this. When you have no atmosphere, you can't use lift from your wings. It's not going to work. You can't just rocket yourself and then fly to the moon. The song Fly Me to the Moon shouldn't say Fly Me to the Moon. Sorry that the creator that made that movie for copyright, but he should say okay, never mind. That didn't make no sense. We get it. We can't fly to the moon. We orbit or we rendezvous to the moon. If you know about the Apollo program, that's what I'm talking about. But we're talking about space planes. Now, if you know a lot about this, how to fly, but if you don't know how to fly in orbit, it's different. But what if you try to fly on Enceladus? Now, I tried this out in Orbiter 2016, and what I figured out, it is impossible. Well, it is possible, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and very calm moves. The gravity is so low. And in fact, if you zoom out your camera, you could see the curvature of the moon. Now, the funny thing is the gravity is so low, how much weight that you put, fuel and stuff, you're so lightweight. Now, that does give you less, your mass. You have to have more thrust from, but it's possible. But if you really want to, without using hover engines, you can take off by thrusting yourself. Now, if you actually kept on going, if it's all flat, well, it's not flat, just, try to keep it, the gravity is so low that you might even slip. But I haven't because, I made sure to stay, watch the wheels not go up. And once you reach a certain speed, you're reaching orbiter speed because you're basically, you're faster than its gravity. So, yeah, or you could just use your RCS thrusters and push yourself up. And then, put your gear up. And then you're basically, once you're up there, you're leaving the sphere of influence of Enceladus. Now, returning back, I found out pretty challenging. What I use is the hover engines. And what basically I do is I go to auto land and then gradually go slowly and to the runway. And then once it's the time, I land. But then the gravity is so weak that the brakes are kind of a bit useless. It's there, but they sort of won't grip. There's not enough grip. So you're going to have to use the translation RCS to push yourself down because, and this is all real life gravity. This is not Kerbal. This is real gravity. This is real life things, except for the base, but this is in the future, so whatever. So yeah, basically it's correct. How I know that? It's right. Basically, maybe a little bit, but I use the X30. What am I doing? XR. I forgot. It's the big space plane. If you played Orbiter 2016, you probably know what I'm talking about if you have those add-ons. Now, you probably, landed on Mars in Orbiter 2016. If you have, it's sort of easy. It's really easy. But the atmosphere is thick enough to sort of have a little bit of control. Now, Mars is it's a bit smaller. All right, so let's go to Mercury. I haven't tested this out, so I'm not going to give accurate explanation, but I don't know. I'm not going to go to Mercury, but Venus is too hot, so you'll melt. Whatever it is, you'll just die because of the pressure and the heat. Earth, we know because we've seen it. The moon. Now, the moon has no atmosphere. Well, it does. It's basically just particles that are coming from the sun bouncing. It's hard to explain. You just have to go to Wikipedia. You're probably like, what? It has an atmosphere? How thick? You just go on there. It tell you how thick it is because it's not like an atmosphere. It is they call it an atmosphere, but it's basically just, it's not, okay, never mind. So it's not going to affect your, drag. It's just pretend it's not there because the moon basically has no atmosphere. It does, but it doesn't. So if you try to fly your space plane, now there's a lot of terrain and stuff. There's not many flat areas, maybe, in the front side of the moon, but the far side, there's a lot of craters. So if you're going to have, well, I'm not going to do this to the Werewolf space plane. That will be impossible. That's why there's hover engines on the Werewolf space plane, so they don't have to worry about any terrain. Maybe in the future that they'll have it so flat, using, like terrain, modified terrain. But what's the point? You have no drag. It's going to be even harder. And if you don't have no hover engines, you're going to crash into the ground because you're thrusting this way. And since there's no drag to help you, stabilize, you're just going to hit yourself because there's no pressure, there's no lift. On Earth, you can just, glide yourself down just like the space shuttle would. But on Mars, gliding is, well, we're going to demonstrate that in real life, which is called a helicopter. And it's actually, it's headed to Mars. Mars 2020. I've talked about this. So, yeah. But Mars, I've tried, landing on Mars is interesting. So if you're having a space plane, you can actually flare. But it's the lift is very weak. So you're going to have to help yourself by using hover engines. But still, is it possible to land? Well, the person that played Orbiter 2010, for his Cathany or something like that. He demonstrated he had to make a long runway so he can actually land a space plane because, you know, you have to use more speed because you need more lift, so you need more speed. So exactly, you basically need to use enough speed. You're gonna have your engines on. So without main engines, you're gonna have to go to your one option. Speed is key, just like Jacksepticeye. But no, speed is the only way to keep it up. And once your speed, you're gonna have a risk of your wheels spinning too fast. But I don't know. So let's try, you guys are like on a mission or something and you want to go to Mars and you don't have that much intelligence. You're just a pilot. All right. Let's say a pilot. Okay. Let's bring a 747 pilot or any pilot that knows how to fly a plane and he tries to land on Mars. He's going to have a hard time. He's going to stall every time. He's going to stall no matter what. He's trying to take off. He can't get enough lift. Eventually, there's going to be terrain and you destroy yourself. I wonder what's going to happen because they know how to fly an airplane in our atmosphere. And when their brain is like, what's going on? Why am I not taking off? You're not telling them the simulator is on Mars and they're trying to take off and they can't. They will, but they need more speed. And that just will get them so, like, there's a stupid bug. Go away. I'm trying to stream. It's not going to work. Now, yeah, it's just. So eventually, once you have enough speed or lift, you're going to start taking off. Now, let's see. But obviously, you're going to spend a lot of fuel. Once you take off, you should be fine. That scared me. God. Oh, stupid bug. I've tried this stream here. You keep doing that. I almost hit my eye. He was right in my face saying, hello. Okay. So once your space plane actually flies, okay, you get the idea. So, okay, so, what about on, let's see, on set, never mind. Now, I was saying planets in the stream, so how about, now, let's just say you're actually going to Venus, but never mind. The Venus atmosphere is so thick, you'll basically just slow down. I don't want to talk about it. It makes my brain just destroy myself. So if you do actually land on Mars, which is possible, you're going to have a lot. Now, landing on Mars by using no hover engines is tricky because you have speed. And once you put those legs down and try to slow yourself down, it's not going to help. It's not, because it will work using air brakes, but it's going to take a while because the air is so thin. But once you actually land, you're going to have to use your brakes, which it will work because the gravity is more stronger enough to support the weight of your plane and also for you to brake properly. So there's enough grip. Now, I don't know what the terrain on Mars is, but if you're landing in a sand dune, you're going to have your wheels clogged up. I'm not sure how that works, but you're going to have a runway if you really want to land a space plane. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Next planet. Well, the rest of them are gas giants, but we'll just go to a asteroid. They call it a dwarf planet, but it is an asteroid. Ceres. Ceres is the largest asteroid. I don't know the gravity much on it, so I'm not going to be talking about it. How about Vesta? I haven't did that trick yet. You have to use hover engines. Let's try Bennu. Okay, maybe I'm not going to talk about Bennu, but let's try. All right. Okay, so Bennu is the size of the Empire State Building. And there's a probe called the Osiris-Rex, which is around there. I don't know what to think. If you have a big airplane, it's not going to work because it's so small. You're going to smash your plane. Let's try. All right. There's not going to be enough radius for you to land. You're just going to be and then you're just gonna like that because the runway is gonna be, if there is a runway, it will actually wrap around the entire asteroid. You know, so you're gonna have. Oh my God, that would just be ridiculous. Bennu is too small, but let's try. So you have your. Oh my God, there's no atmosphere at all. Okay, let's just go somewhere that has more mass, or at least not like a little, rock. And if you did land, there'll be so much debris because it's so fragile moon. There's like, it's just a big mess. If you have your rockets and stuff, it's gonna be all flying all over the place. It could be a cloud of debris, especially if you have a base on there, which would be very small. It'd be very awkward because, yeah. All right, let's move on to Jupiter's moons. And we're not going to go into the gas giants because we don't know much about the gas. Let's go to Ilo. Well, I tried Ilo, but since Ilo sometimes crashes because my game, so because there's actually an atmosphere for its effect, sometimes if you go lower than it, it just stops. And sometimes if you go too fast, it will just physics break and then your space plane just goes flying up into infinity and crashes your simulator. So the next one, let's see, Europa. I haven't did it yet, but Ganymede. Ganymede is the biggest moon in the solar system. So there is an atmosphere in our real life, but it won't matter because it's just, I don't know. It's not there. Well, it is. There's oxygen, but it won't matter. All right, but the gravity is big, so you're gonna have a large amount. Now, landing on it like an airplane, you'll just be like acting like the moon. Let's go to Callisto. Uh, Actually, I tried lifting off normally, but for some reason, I tried getting rid of my cargo, and I accidentally pressed empty fuel tank, and I had to stop. I guess I got sidetracked again. So I tried to, but it is possible. Next planet is Saturn. Now, Saturn has more moons than Jupiter, surprisingly, actually. Yeah, so we're gonna go. Okay, Manus. It will be impossible, but it would be very interesting by lifting off from a runway. Well, I should say, it looks like Death Star. So Manus, yeah, it's gonna be weird. Let's go to Enceladus, which I did talk about. It is possible and landing by using hover engines and gliding well, not gliding, but using hover engines and move like that. Next moon is actually could be 100% accurate. In fact, it will be very easy but very slow. Titan. Titan has a very thick atmosphere and it has low gravity. Basically, you don't need a space plane. You could, well, now a space plane would be very easy as long as it basically is entering the atmosphere. Once it does, it basically would, fly normally. In fact, it will actually fly so slow and not stall. So let's put a pilot that's going to fly or take off, and try to fly normally. Now he's going to be like, wow, just instantly just take off because the gravity is so low. So yeah, you can bank, you could do pretty much all of it. You don't need hover engines because never mind. But you don't need them because the gravity in the atmosphere, you could actually land normally. You're not going to crash. So Titan is a good candidate for starting, but it's on Saturn, so it's pretty far away. But have fun. It is there. I'm going to skip the rest of the moons because they're not necessary. I'm actually going to skip Uranus also. So yeah. So Neptune. Now there is a moon that does have an atmosphere, and it's called Triton. And Triton is very thin, but it is there. What's funny is I actually I had my hover engines on my space plane, and it actually hovered right above the atmosphere. So basically, I was hovering above the atmosphere, which was really interesting. As soon as I entered it, I went Mach 1. It was a Mach. No, wait, subsonic, it said. It was interesting. Just basically just floating. Yeah, it was fun. And it does have clouds, and the atmosphere is so thin that it's going to be sort of impossible unless if you I can't get scram engines to work properly. I probably have to throttle up and have to get so close to it and fast enough, but still it may not even work still because the atmosphere is so thin. Um, so yeah, it is going to be sort of weird, but it is possible. But you're going to have a massive wing. But still, you're going to have a trouble. So you might as well need hover engines to land. Now, last but not least is Pluto. Now, Pluto does have an atmosphere, and it's the same thing as Triton. It's nitrogen. So Pluto is not in orbiter 2016, but it is in space engine, which you can actually fly a space plane. I've tried it out, and yes, you can actually fly through Pluto's atmosphere. But landing, I don't know. But possibly is the same. As long as you find a flat area to land on, it is possible to not flare, but it is possible to actually, have an atmosphere to use your control surfaces. If you put a pilot on Pluto, low gravity is very easy. It's beautiful planet. I'm saying planet because I call it planet. Don't even make fun of me because of that. So yeah. Pretty much that's all. The rest of it doesn't have enough information for me to explain, but we do have Akara, MU69, but that object is weird looking, and I don't know how big it is. I forgot because it's a weird shape. And New Horizons did a flyby. That's the only object that we had a picture of. That's the farthest of direct imaging of seeing the surface. The rest of it is unknown. So we'll have a lot of mysteries to go through. And yeah, let's see. I'll maybe talk about it, but we still don't know much about atmospheres. We have a lot to explore. But yeah, the best candidates for flying is Titan, Earth, possibly Mars, Venus, if you're like in the upper atmosphere, and that's it. Those are the only ones that you could actually flare and fly without basically stalling. Well, you could stall on Mars, but you could basically fly normally. You just need a lot of speed. So if you're actually going, never mind. So yeah, I would love to actually, if I actually find a pilot, I would love to do another stream like this with a real pilot, and try to fly, or he or she will try to fly, taking off on Mars and then landing back again. That would be just interesting. And to see what he or she would react, and to actually see just see. Oh, I'll have to find one, which would be very fun and stuff to see. But obviously, I think it's the end of here because I ran out of options. If you need some information, comment below on this stream, and I will answer it as soon as possible. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I know a little bit of glitches, but still, if you need information, go contact me on Twitter at Wade the Wallaby. Contact me on Discord, which is actually on my. Just go on there. You'll find it on my channel. You'll find it. It's there. Click on that, and it will take you straight to it. And join my channel. Also, join my group on Steam, which is the Wallaby Mob. Do it because you could also be playing with me or doing other stuff. I have a lot of games that you guys can play with me. But if you're trying to force me something on Gary's mod and don't know how to be an admin, I'm gonna be upset because yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next live stream. See ya.